Here, Radio Row Super Bowl 48 in New York between the Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos, and we ran into a familiar friend of ours, and that's David Nelson, wide receiver for the New York Jets. David, Zach Gelb here. How are you?
Man, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. We appreciate a few minutes today, and your team this year, I know you guys didn't make the playoffs, and that's something Rex wanted to do, but they surprised a lot of people, as many people labeled him a lame duck coach, and that scene in the locker room after you defeated the Miami Dolphins was something very special.
Oh, it was. It was. Just because, the guys truly respect and love playing for Rex, and we love what he brings to the table. We believe in him as our future leader. And, it was just a tough year for us. At the beginning of the year, we were labeled as a glorified expansion team and, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, and then a slump of some losses and then some wins. And so all season long, we kind of had to answer the questions to the media about, is Rex the future of this franchise? Is he going to be the coach next year? And for a long time, we had to talk about it. And at the end of the season, the guys came together and said, it's time to stop talking about it. And it's time, if we want to keep Rex Ryan, we got to play. We got to let our talking let her play on the field, do the talking. And so I think after the game in Miami, we played so well and finished the season so strong. It was an emotional win for us, and then to hear that Rex was going to be the head coach next year, it just all came together, and guys really enjoyed that moment.
What is it like, though, to play for Rex Ryan? If you had to describe him, because every year polls come out and they say people want to play for him. You saw Bart Scott come over from the Ravens to the Jets. People love playing for this guy.
Yeah, his track record proved for itself. Look at Ed Reed. Ed played for him over in Baltimore, and guys who have played for him in the past want to come back for him. Not only guys who have played for him, but coaches. Coaches love coaching for them. They always come back, and if they leave and if they have an opportunity to come back, they always come back. I think it's just he doesn't just bark orders and just tell guys what to do. He truly respects the people underneath him, and he really leads them humbly. And it's one of those things. I think the reason why is because he grew up in an NFL locker room under his dad and with his brother, and so he was able to see how it operates and what players like. He wasn't, because usually in an NFL locker room, coaches aren't allowed. It's kind of the player space. The coaches don't go into it. When he grew up, he was the ball boy in other situations. So he was always in the locker room around the guys. The guys would take him around and entertain him and show him a good time. And so he was engulfed in the locker room, and he was around those guys. So he knows kind of how they operate, what they like. And so I think he really uses that to his coaching style now, and really gives his players freedom to be who they are and to establish who they are.
Geno Smith, what has been your take on him his first year in the NFL?
I'm really proud of him. I'm really proud of the man that he's become and the player he's become, because he's gone through such a difficult season, ups and downs. The way he finished the season, I think, is going to propel him to be the player that he is hopefully going to be for us. And so I think he has a tremendous end of the season. Hopefully we can build on that this offseason, and he can be a legitimate starting quarterback in this league for a long time.
David Nelson joins us on the program, WHIP Radio here in Philadelphia. And the Meadowlands, MetLife Stadium, it's been a big topic of conversation here this week. What's the atmosphere like in that stadium? I've been there a few times. It's a nice building. It's
incredible. It really is. I've had some great memories there, and I've had some terrible memories there. I actually tore my knee my third year in the league at that stadium, and so it's become home for me. And the beautiful thing about that stadium is just when you're there, it feels like a football stadium. But at the same time, it's nice. It's got nice amenities. It's got it's a big stadium. But at the same time, when you're playing, you feel like you're playing in an NFL football stadium. There's some stadiums I couldn't say that. That's the case. But for this one, when you're there, you're there to play ball, and it's a beautiful stadium.
And the cold weather has been obviously a big topic of conversation here. And you played in Florida at university, and then you also played in Buffalo, which doesn't get any colder than that. Yeah. The cold weather Super Bowl, do you like the concept of it?
No, I don't. To be completely honest with you, I don't. I think that it should be under a mutual playing field. I really do. I think it should be in a situation where both teams, it takes all the elements out of it and let the best team win. Because a lot of times you do have teams who play in the cold. Let's say the Jets did make it to the Super Bowl this year. We would have had all season to get used to playing in the cold. Let's say we play a team from Dallas, and they're not used to playing in that. Well, that gives us a distinct advantage. We may not even necessarily be the best team, but because we have that advantage, it allows us to become to win that game. And so I think it should be played in a situation where both teams, there's no elements. It's all just let the best team win and see who can win the game.
Getting to this matchup on Sunday, Richard Sherman has been making a lot of noise. He's been the loquacious cornerback, especially ever since the end of that game happened up against Colin Kaepernick and the San Francisco 49ers. He said he's the best cornerback in the league. Do you believe he's the best cornerback in the league?
I believe he's one of them.
You're a Revis guy. I can tell you.
I am. I believe in Darrell, and I know what he can do. And I've played against a lot of good ones, and I've played against a lot of great ones. And, I do think he's top 3. I just haven't had the opportunity to play against him. So I will never sit there and say how good somebody is. They can look really good on tape, but until you actually get out there and run against them, that's really kind of how you figure out how good that person is. And I played against Durrell, I played against Woodson, I played against a lot of the best. And until I get a chance to play Richard, I can't say he's the best.
We expect a lot of press coverage coming up this weekend, especially when you go up against this amazing offense in the Denver Broncos, Wes Welker, both Thomases, and then also Eric Decker. As a wide receiver, especially knowing how physical this Seahawks unit is, how do you gain some separation away from them?
Oh man, it's about trusting your routes and trusting where you need to be. The beautiful thing about being a receiver is that I know where I need to go and I know where I need to be. The DB doesn't. He has to. It's more of a guessing game. It's more about reaction, and so I have to be very precise. It's all about precision. It's knowing where you need to be and doing whatever you need to do to sell the different route to get to where you need to be. And so, whenever you're playing against a physical receiver or DB, you have to be just as physical, if not more. And then also the element, know your advantages, know where you're going, and sell different things. If I know I'm going to run a comeback and I run a go route already in the game, sell the go route, make him think I'm going deep, and then run the comeback. Use that to your advantage. Use different routes to your advantage to really sell different things. I know that Richard's a very aggressive corner. I know that the Seahawks is very aggressive. They're the top 5 in the league in interceptions. They want to make plays. They want to make that. So use that to your advantage. Use that aggressiveness to your advantage, so that if they think you're running an in route, sell the in route and bite out. Just use your smarts and really understand the name of the game and how they play, and use that to your advantage.
Staying here with the Broncos offense, Peyton Manning has already won a Super Bowl, but people think he needs to get that other one to welcome in that top 3 category as an all-time great quarterback. And I already believe he is an all-time great quarterback.
Right.
He's an offensive genius. He puts the ball wherever he wants to, but this time it's a little bit different. Last time he was with the Indianapolis Colts, comes off that neck surgery. A lot of people in the NFL at all awe about the way that this guy's been able to come back and still put out some of the best years in the later part of his 30s.
Yeah, I have tremendous respect for him. Just the way he's been able to adapt to a whole different team, a whole different surrounding, a whole different element. He was playing in a dome most of his career when he was in Indianapolis. Has come back down to Denver and has still produced the same amount of numbers, if not better. And so I regardless of what happens this weekend, he's definitely in my mind a top 3 quarterback of all time, just because of the numbers and the consistency of which he's done it. A lot of guys come in and they'll have 3 or 4 great years and they'll have a couple of off years, and every single year he's top 3 in the league, passing yards, touchdowns, precision. And so I think that with numbers like that, he's definitely got to be considered top 3 in the history of the game.
The $1 million question that everyone's trying to figure out: what does Omaha mean? Do you have any clue what Omaha means?
I would, if I had to assume, I would think it would mean hurry up. Omaha, because every team has a different trigger that says we're going to snap the ball on my next sound. Some people say Omaha, some people say fire, some people say hurry, whatever it may be, just to give a trigger to the center saying, hey, my next word or my next color or my next order, snap the ball. And so I think a lot of times I see him always saying Omaha, and he's kind of rushing the guy a little bit, and then that means the next snap. But the way that it's been made up, I think they've changed it to mean a couple different things each and every single week, so it throws the defense off.
Let's get to the other quarterback, and that's Russell Wilson. A little bit different than Peyton Manning. Isn't your traditional pocket passing quarterback. He has a lethal arm, and he could kill you with his legs outside of the pocket. And that mobile quarterback, you're starting to see it a little bit more now in the NFL, and it goes 2 ways. You either have it with RG3, where he has some injury problems and can't stay on the field, or you have a situation like Colin Kaepernick and Russell Wilson, and they're able to excel. Mobile quarterback, we're going to start seeing a little bit more of that in the NFL, you think?
I think so. I really do. I think it adds a whole different element to the game that is difficult to prepare for and difficult to keep eyes on everything that's going on. Because you got guys who the receivers are running routes. You got to be able to put your defense in a position to be able to cover them. But at the same time, if you have a quarterback that can escape the pocket and get 10, 15, 20 yards, well, then how do you play against that? Do you put a spy on him? Well, then you lose a guy in coverage. Do you tell your defensive line not to rush as hard, to stay back a little bit? Well, then the quarterback's going to have all day to pick your secondary apart. So I think anytime you can have a chance to add other characteristics to what you do, especially with something like that at the quarterback position, it adds a whole different level. And so that was something that we really tried to get Geno to understand throughout the season. And I think he really started to do a good job at that at the end of the year, where, hey, in the National Football League, plays aren't always going to go the way you want it to. Defenses are paid and they're here because they're great players, and they're going to they're going to make plays, and guys aren't always going to be open. And so what happens, that's the difference between a pocket quarterback and a mobile quarterback, where when nothing is open, a pocket quarterback just has to sit there and wait, or he gets sacked, or he tries to run and he gets 5 yards. Well, a mobile quarterback can turn a negative play into a 20, 30, 40-yard plus play. And so it adds a whole different element, and it keeps the defense guessing and trying to figure out what they're going to do, and it adds a whole different game plan for the defense.
The NFL draft, we always know how big of a deal that is, and Todd McShay and Mel Kiper, they're always breaking it down 24/7. Each and every move that you do, they break it down on ESPN. And many people could believe that if Russell Wilson wins this game on Sunday, that you have the potential Johnny Manziel's draft stock to benefit in that. Can you see a situation like that happening, that if Russell Wilson wins just because he's a mobile quarterback and so is Johnny Manziel on the shorter side, that could work into Johnny Football's favor?
Yeah, I've heard of that, and I always have the issue of trying to really base one game off of that. I mean, if you look at Russell's track record since he stepped foot in the league, I mean, he's made a difference. And so I battle with the thought of if he wins this game, it'll help Johnny's draft status. I think it's already helped. I think the stuff that the ability that Russell has shown and the difference making that he presents to that team, and just how much better they are with him on the field, it already proves. I mean, regardless of this game, if he loses this game or not, he's gotten them to the Super Bowl. Last year, he got them to the playoffs. I mean, he's been the guy for them for the past 2 years. And so I think what he's done so far has already proven that a player of his caliber makes his team better. And I think Johnny can do the same thing.
And let's go to Marshawn Lynch. He doesn't talk to the media that much. I saw that he had like a 6-minute session, and everyone was making a big deal out of it. That's another big storyline in this game, is the ability to run the football. You have more of a physical team here with Seattle going up against a Denver defense that hasn't been great this year, but they came to play up against a very good Patriots team a week ago and stopped down their rushing attack. Yeah, I mean, I had the opportunity to play with Marshawn in Buffalo for a year and a half, and so I know who he is and how he operates, and I know he knows that when there's a time to goof around and a time to joke around and time to talk, and then he knows when there's a time to be quiet and get his job done. And he's in that mode right now. And if you see the way he plays, I mean, he plays with passion, he plays with fire. He believes in letting his play do the talking. And so, I know he's going to be running out there with reckless abandon. I mean, that guy he uses his body as a tool, and so I think he's going to be the key factor in this game, because especially talking about the weather, talking about are they going to be able to throw. I know how hard it is to catch and run routes when it's freezing cold outside. So I believe the best running game is going to win this football game. And so if Marshawn can come out and play the way he has and be aggressive and dominant the way he has, I think Seattle can win this game. I've been to Buffalo before, actually, a bunch of times for some Pats-Bills games. My sister actually went to school at SUNY Buffalo. What's your favorite place to eat at Buffalo? Are you a big Anchor Bar fan? Do you like Duff's? Have you ever been to any of those great wing places?
I've been to both of them. I love food. I love going to different places, and I love both those places. My favorite place, actually, in Buffalo was a little Italian restaurant called Chef's. They had the spaghetti parm there that was unbelievable. And
I've been there.
That was my place. I would go there, before every game on Friday.
See, the difference, though, when I went to Chef's is they made me wait like an hour to get a reservation. When you walked in there, they probably said, okay, let's go, get him in, get him the best service in the house.
You would think so, but no. Unfortunately not. That never happened. I wish. But, I wasn't one of the main guys, but, maybe someday I'll go back there and maybe they'll let me, maybe give me that service.
This is my 5th radio row, and I think you are my first guest in my 5 years ever being here not to have a PR person running you around here. And I walked right up to you. I said, David, how you doing? Can you come on with us? And there's no PR person. Everyone's rushing you to get you off the set. It seems like you're a real normal guy, even though you're an NFL athlete.
I try to be, man. I try to be. I'm not big into the entourage and the publicity, PR, and all of that. I try to come here and just be real and be personable. I believe in relationships and I believe in people. And if somebody approaches me and says, hey, I want you to come on a radio show, and if they take the time to come up and ask me that, and not send an email or send a text message, if they come up to me and say, hey, will you come over here and talk, and I'm all about it. I'm not a big I don't have a big image. I'm not the biggest name in the room. So I'm all about relationships. I'm all about getting to know people, and that's my heart. And so I try not to let people make myself seem like I'm bigger than I really am, because I'm not. I'm a guy who just happens to play football, and I love what I do. But I try to use that to help other people and really inspire other people. And so, I'm more about personal interaction, and so face-to-face interactions, and that's how I've always been.
I'm from New York. The city life is always great here. I'm about 45 minutes from the city. What do you do on a night like this during Super Bowl week tonight? You going out, having some fun?
No, I started a nonprofit organization for orphan kids in Haiti, and so really, 2 years ago, yes, that was all I was here for. I came here to party, came here to meet celebrities, and have a good time. And now I'm here to tell everybody about what we're doing in Haiti and tell everybody about the kids who we're trying to help. And I just got back from Haiti last Saturday, and I'm here this weekend. I fly back to Haiti on Monday. And so really, I'm just here to be a voice for the voiceless and give those kids an opportunity to speak and speak for those who can't speak for themselves. And so I'm going around and speaking at different places about our organization, about what's going on over there, and doing different appearances, trying to raise money for our organization. And so that's my main focus. I'm here for those kids, and I'm here to represent them this weekend.
When I was back in high school, we actually did a leadership program to Costa Rica, and we helped out these underprivileged kids. We ran a camp for them, and they lived for this whole week. There was only a week they got off during the school year, and that has to be the most rewarding thing, especially for you. We're privileged. We get to come here to Radio Row.
Yeah.
You get to play in the NFL,
Yeah.
and it has to just be great to see those kids smile and really just have a great time when you're interacting with them.
It really is, because those kids, and specifically what we deal with is orphans who don't have a mother and a father, who don't have anybody to love and support and encourage them. And so as an NFL athlete, we're getting pulled so many different ways. People are always wanting, expecting stuff from us. There's so much pressure. But when you go over there and you hang out with those kids, they don't want anything but your attention. They just want you to hug them, play ball with them, and give them and give them love. And so for me, that's the greatest fulfillment in my life. That's the greatest reward in my life, is just to be loved. And to go over there and to have no expectations, no agendas, but just to go over there and truly be a part of something that's much greater than myself. I couldn't ask for anything else. Football is what I do, but it's not who I am. And I try to use the platform that I've been given to help others and to help kids in that situation, because when I come back and I speak on behalf of them, I believe it honors them, and I believe that it gives them an opportunity to become the person that they were created to become.
Well, fantastic stuff. We appreciate a few minutes today. Thanks so much, and best of luck next year in the NFL.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
David Nelson right there, wide receiver for the New York Jets. We'll be back right after these short messages from Radio Row.